Hey witches, how you doing today? We're back with another video, and you know, I've been thinking it's the end of summer and we've all been sort of getting out in nature and enjoying, you know, walking the trails in the river valley or going camping and getting out into the forest and really spending time even out in the backyard gardening and really getting our hands and feet into the soil and really enjoying nature. And it's got me sort of thinking, what really is nature? I have a bit of a thought exercise I want to share, and some of my own thoughts and opinions on what exactly is nature. And I think you guys might be interested, so stick around. Because before we get started, for those of you who are new around here, my name is Taya. Welcome to the channel. We talk about all things witchcraft. And for those of you who are returning viewers, maybe coming in from another video, welcome back. Thank you so much for the support. It's really appreciated. And all of you, please consider subscribing. It's a really great way to help us build the channel. So, nature. Now, I kind of came to this too, being out in nature and enjoying nature, and then I taught a foraging class, a couple of foraging classes over the summer, and I ran into a couple of people who had some interesting questions for me. The first one was somebody out of New York City who was like, I really want to take your foraging class. It looks interesting, but I don't know that it's really going to apply to me. It was an urban foraging class, you know, because I live in New York. So the first thing that I mentioned was that any plants that you can find thriving and growing in and around a big, busy city like New York City, those are going to be so strongly allied with the genius loci of that location. But I get it, there's not a lot of plants there. And another friend of mine went out foraging with me, and she was like, you know, I'm having a really hard time connecting with nature. This has been great, but I'm not an outdoorsy person. I don't garden, I don't, you know, spend my time out wandering around in the forest. Like, she's like, I just don't really do outdoors, so I'm really having a hard time connecting with nature. And a big part of traditional witchcraft is sort of building a relationship with the land upon which we live, connecting with our natural environment. So it really kind of got me thinking, or more like clarifying my thoughts on what is nature. So, to get us started, I'm going to go to the definitions. So first of all, nature from the Merriam-Webster dictionary it's the external world in its entirety. Okay, kind of vague, but all right. The Oxford Dictionary had a great definition. The phenomena of the physical world collectively, including plants, animals, the landscape, and other features and products of the earth, as opposed to humans or human creations. So both those definitions, right? One talks about the external world and the other one about as opposed to humans and human creations. I want to challenge this thinking. Why do we place human beings outside of nature, or even like above nature? Like we're better than all that. We are mammals of the earth. If you look at taxonomy, we are of the species sapiens, of the genus Homo sapiens, right? The family Hominidae, so we're related to all the great apes. The order primates, so we're related to all of the monkeys. Of the class Mammalia, so all of the animals that have mammary glands, we are related to. We are in the phylum Chordata. We are related to everything that has a spinal cord. We are in the kingdom Animalia. We are related to all animals. In the domain Eukarya, there were only 3 domains. Ours is Eukarya, which means we have a nucleus that contains our genetic information, which makes us related to all plants, animals, fungi, and protists. I don't know what protists are. Plants, animals, fungi, and protists. So, right, if we look at taxonomy, we are included in the taxonomy of everything that has evolved from the primordial sludge. We are just like anything else that has evolved from the primordial sludge of this earth. So, when we look at termites take soil and mix it with their saliva and their dung, and they build these grand towers, these big termite towers. We look at wasps. They chew up wood and spit it out to create those papery, beautiful wasps' nests. Those are nature. And those, I guess they're not animals, those insects, right? They take what is found in nature and they process it to create something for themselves to better their lives. So humans do that too. Nothing that we as humans have created is not fundamentally of this planet and its natural resources. Now, some things go through processing after processing after processing, but nothing on this planet is created with something that was not originally found in nature on this planet. Right? We haven't brought in any extraterrestrial resources. Everything is of this earth. So why is a termite tower considered nature, but an apartment building is not? Both are made by creatures evolved on this planet in a manner that requires the processing of natural resources on this planet. So why do we as humans insist on setting ourselves apart from nature? Often it's like, oh, well, we have higher thinking. But so do dolphins and ravens and other creatures out there, I'm sure. Right? They can think outside of themselves. They're not just slaves to instinct. They are able to reason through problems. What about octopuses, right? They are able to reason through problems and puzzles. Again, why do we as humans insist on setting ourselves apart from nature? My opinion, my theory, is that we are not separate from nature. This mess all around me, that's nature, baby. If we want to connect with nature, right? If we're having a hard time connecting with nature, or we live in a big city and we're like, I can't see the nature, why don't we connect with ourselves? With our fundamental similarities to other creatures on this planet, like higher thinking, right? We all have to eat, right? We all have to eliminate our waste and go to the bathroom. We all have to sleep. I don't know if every single creature on Earth has to sleep, but right, vast amount of them do. We have a drive to procreate. Now, some humans have sort of had that turned off in their brains, right? They may not have that drive to procreate, but as a general common thing in humanity, we have a drive to procreate. We use tools. Primates, birds, polar bears all use tools too. How about farming other animals and agriculture, right? Ants, termites, damselfish, a specific beetle, a very specific snail, jellyfish, crabs are all known to either farm other animals or have a form of agriculture. Whether that's growing algae or farming aphids. There's all sorts of different animals that do that too. And finally, we all have a drive to create. Buildings to shelter us, vehicles to move us, webs and traps to catch our prey. We are not above, beyond, or separate from nature. Humans are nature. The things we create are nature. So I guess maybe start there with your own humanity and how it links us to the nature all around us. I'll be honest, I don't get up in the morning and look at my house and go, nature. Right? I still think there's something to be said for getting out and, getting out into the forest and tree bathing, whatever. But if you're having a really hard time connecting with nature, you yourself are fundamentally natural. You are nature. All the things around us are nature. Some are very obviously like, hey, this rattle I made from vetch pods is obviously from nature. Other things like a beeswax candle. Well, this is made from beeswax. And dyes that, maybe they're chemical dyes, but where did the elements to make that dye come from? They all occur in nature. Maybe they've been processed a few times over, but still nature. Even down to this statue that I have, right? She's metal. Metal comes from the earth, right? We may have processed it into an alloy that's like harder and more stable, but at the end of the day, it still comes from the earth. So I'd like to know, what do you think? Are humans part of nature, or are we separate and distinct? I'd love to know. And also, why do you think humans insist on setting ourselves apart from nature? I personally think it's ego. But you tell me, what do you think about all that? I'd love to know. Be a cool discussion to have. And otherwise, yeah, that's our video for today. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much, you guys.